What's going on, YouTubes? It's time for a recap. Let's get into it. What happened today? Obvious long. Here's the expo 7 hours ago in the pre-market right before open. We had a lot of plans, but I posted this one for free for you guys on X. Every once in a while, we like to do that. And we said short out of the gate, first to long today. Then I told everybody my thesis into here, into the golden pocket, into the lower. And again, if you watched our live stream video, link is in the description and in the live section of our YouTube, you'd understand why the price targets went all the way down to 520 just about today. And exactly as we called out of the gate here, we had a beautiful downside golden pocket and continuation. I don't think I posted a new picture on that one, but this one right here on the way down. Then I noted my next short trade here for the group where it was under the golden pocket into 520 area. So you're shorting here and taking profit as you come into the GP. So again, in our group, I like to draw these little pictures here of entries and exits, of expectation, of our over-under, long, so on and so forth. And obviously they change throughout the day as we get more data, as we get more technical analysis going on. And as we do, we always update through the Discord. So all pre-market, usually about 5, 6 a.m., I'm calling shots here all morning. Today is a little later, 7 or so. We talked about those algos coming up, told you exactly where to draw those fibs. We had a beautiful 3 down, 3 up algo. Everybody was killing it today, posting some really nice P&Ls on our long calls, grouping on the top steps account. Some of our members are posting down here that they're killing it today. Beautiful. So yeah, we had an amazing day today. So let's get into how we predicted the market. So as we got into the algorithm pre-market here, oh, there we go. Finally got over there. I told my class in my Discord this was the over-under of the day, 524.30. That was the major key point. And as you've seen on X, I called right here. It was going to be a short out of the gate, long later on into the day. Well, good thing we got that correct. So as it came down, the algo fib box pointed to the upside, gave the long target for the day at the 1618. Anything over under 524.30 was your short morning. So we broke down, stayed under the 100, got a little extra leeway down. It kind of broke out of that fib, and I wanted to see an exact 520 tag. We got within 10 cents of our target, which for me, more than enough, as we've nailed a lot of points out of the gate today. Whew, excuse me. And let's go over the others. So when I left my group in the Discord, I said the golden pocket, which is the high low, obviously, of this algorithm here. The golden pocket is going to be that thing we watch the most. And I said we were 100% short-sided into this unless we are above VWAP and trending. Go long for the purple zone. That is it. So we waited and waited and waited, and you were patient and patient and patient. And it finally broke to that upside there. Now, there's a couple different interesting markers here that I said. We'll go over it on SPY here in a second as well. But as you see here, it kind of just consolidated for quite some time in that golden pocket of the algo pre-market. And then it finally broke over. It back tested, because we always look for confirmation, broke over our over-under level, and then got, again, within 10 cents of our long target, the 1618. So if you were to watch the over-under right here before I left, it was short biased until over VWAP. And I said long if it's over 10 SMA, over VWAP with confirmation. This is what this looks like, class. This is what it looks like. Confirmation is chop garbage like this, finally breaking range, retesting range, and breaking out continually. That's what we're waiting for. It doesn't matter if it broke to the downside and did it. It doesn't matter if it broke to the upside. The main key point is the confirmation you look for as a professional trader. You don't guess the chop. You'd rather miss it than risk it. You're not trying to catch the entire perfect bottom long to the perfect top. It's not how it works. You get this perfect zone and you wait for the breakup. Back test of zone, 10 SMA, 100 EMA on the 5-minute, and over VWAP, higher low, higher low. We're in the top channel of the RSI, MACD cross. We had everything finally, coming to terms, and we never hit lows. One of the big key takeaways here we did talk about too is a structure break. Okay, so during this choppy consolidation, we did have something called a megaphone pattern, and these are usually bullish. So you see the consolidation go high, right? This is a higher high, tiny little higher high right here on the 5-minute from here. Push down, lower low, pushed up, higher high. Okay, so you see right there, we're actually creating higher highs as the same time we're creating lower lows That's the megaphone. That's the Pac-Man, right? That's usually a bullish scenario outside the center. Now that lined up with the GP pretty nicely. And after the higher low, again, we had lows, higher high. So you're looking on trend to continue. It definitely gave us the signals. So what else did we look for? Well, the SPY. That was one of the biggest takeaways of the day as well. On the SPY, I said, man, if it holds 600, it's game over. That is the only thing you should worry about. We're trading QQQs off SPY. SPY was the leader today. And of course, lots of diversions from the Qs. Tesla, Apple, not looking out so hot. So what about SPY? $600. And this is what I said even to the number one key point in my group. I said nothing really matters in technical analysis because the psychology of 600 is everything. And 600 is just massive. That's not a 525, 550, 575, half quarter numbers. That is a whole $100 number, just like hitting 21,000 on NQ, 22,000, so on and so forth. That is a huge psychological level and usually takes precedence over normal technical analysis. So the 600 came in, right? As we had support, it pushed into the 6. And again, I would have looked for down just a little bit more towards that golden pocket and maybe another confirmation on the bottom, but she picked up highs. It picked up in the RSI, and everything was more bullish than anything. And you could have led that Qs trade actually with the SPY, anything over 600. It's exactly what we mentioned in our group as well. Now, we do have higher to come, in my opinion here. We do have a push. We do have our golden fib right here that I was watching and all the way up to 604.58. And of course, the top of the pow pow candle. So we've been looking for this for quite some time here on the bounce from the 100 EMA, as we called that reversal point, per over, per under. But we knew that first tag was going to cause a nice snap up. Now we have the inauguration, everything else that's going to drag us to the upside. Perfectly fine. So the top of the Powell candle is going to be targeting a fence, okay? 12.18's a candle, right? 606.52. Now, if you've been watching my Twitter post, I am calling for NQ to 22,080. Maybe this week. We'll see what it gets to, but that's going to be reputable with this candle here. I'm going to remove a couple of my swing fibbies here. And you're going to notice right around this 22,080 mark, we got this lower high, right? So if this comes back up, we break through this high, we're obviously going to come to equal highs of this past lower high. Something interesting about this whole area was obviously the pow pow candle here, and we can come all the way up to 20,300 if we wanted to, but the golden pocket is something that I wanted to return to as long as the bottom of the Powell candle was holding. So this high range candle right here, as long as we were holding 21,300, we were calling for that long to 22,000 in about 80. We have some algorithms to fill up here in this lower high that we made actually right here on this day. So there has been algos open from 1226 that still need fill. And these algos, it's not if they're going to fill, it's when. And just because it came down and completed a 3-down cycle, 1, 2, 3, and we look for that 100 EMA, 1, you guessed it, 2, 3, we actually might be pushing up a little bit higher. We have an NQ algo fill needed solo queue. So I have this registered right here at all-time highs as well. This is another one that I haven't called yet too much on X or YouTube, but our group knows where this one is. This one was drawn way back here on the Powell dump because that's where it's from, the day before the Powell dump. We had 22,385.78 as an algo as well. And we mentioned that way back in the Powell day. So we have room on this rip rally up towards 20,380. So all my put sellers and all my buddies here looking at that 10 SMA and 50, go ahead and sell those NQ puts. Get that credit spread. In my opinion, 21,300 would be a great support, reaching up to 22,385, right? So a lot of points to that upside. 1,000 from our support call here. So what else did we look for in the QQ and SPY? And I do want to just note here of why we did the short out of the gate as well. I'll give you guys a key hint. Today, even though the algo was there, we had Magnus to the downside, we had VWAPs to the downside, and why I called short, there's another reason the shorting out of the gate here, and I'll give you this one for gaps and algos, because yesterday's high is here in the orange dotted line, okay? That orange dotted line was a gap up comment. That means if we are in pre-market and we are over that level, we are in a gap up, right? And then when we open up right here, and we have a gap between the opening right now of today and yesterday's highs, that's a gap. So it will fill. And the reason we call the fill, why wouldn't it hold a gap and go? Well, what's the reason, right? We're at a holiday week. We don't have a PPI, CPI pre-market, FOMC. We don't have a Trump tweet that's crazy, war headlines, whatever it happens to be. Nothing like that exists, right? So overall, I would say there's not a huge reason to assume a gap and go is going to hold, right? And that would be, I think, round 2 for SPY. So we already had the gap and go here. So another gap and go, not filling up the candle. There's just no reason for it. So a lot of the time when we start in a gap up in pre-market, there's no reason for it. So let's say there's a little bit of jobs data, a little bit of PPI or whatever that pushes it up in pre. I always assume downside to at least yesterday's highs to fill that gap. And that was one of the biggest calls we had on SPY today. And as we trade the ES, because we actually had a really decent setup here. Where's my defaulter? There we go. We had a really decent setup here with the algo that we had on SPY. And we also called 600. And obviously, you see right here, the golden pocket is pretty much 600. So we had this little algo right here on SPY that we had used today. And then anything building here on SPY, break out of this trend line, we were going to hold anything above VWAP to go. And that's usually my main consensus. If it breaks back above VWAP, test and go, just take it long. 600, obvious psychological level. RSI was really helping after about 10, 15, 10, 30 there, confirming strength on that 50 level of the RSI. I really like to use that 50 even to watch trend. And that 50 even on support lined up with, you guessed it, perfect VWAP in the purple dash line. So 1, 2, 3, consolidation, hit that 1618 target, boom, little slowdown, right? And then right to the 2618, consolidated, and even more. She's cooking, right? So what are the predictions? Well, you already heard them. 22,080 for this week, and then continued to 23,000, and potentially back towards highs here very closely. The high I'm looking at early this week into next is the Powell candle top. So to make it very simple here, I expect price action to return up here to about 606.40. If we have other fibs actually to utilize for this to the upside is 605.36. So between that 604 and 605, we can have a really good day here, a really good week rather, to continue cooking this thing up, because we do have Fibonacci. And if you haven't seen our live recap, it's called Do This Every Day. It's a live lesson on Saturday. I teach every Saturday right around noon Central Time. So those live videos are there to help you set up with these Fibonacci points. But one of the major keys was this little doji dude here, because it's a SPY. And this is what I meant by double gap scenario. We had one gap up here, right? Then yesterday's trade day here, gap up today. And again, it's not deserving of a double gap. It is very rare to have a gap, candle, gap. We need something to go off of. It's got to have some kind of huge ballistics, multiple earnings, multiple Q1, something huge, right? Got to have it. FOMC, CPI rendering, short blown up, something, okay? And it just didn't have it. So again, that's another reason why I called short out of the gate. And my main short was short from 1618 of this algo here. So we did have this little algo print there. And anything under the 1618 was my short call to yesterday's highs. So the SPY did push up, and we took this ES short right here as well into the 1618. Fib box was generated right here on this algo. Once the 1618 hits, and this is what I call an algo magnet. This is yesterday's highs right here in that orange dash line, 599.37. So once we rejected the 1618, generally we come back down to the 100 fib. It broke 600. Tagged yesterday's high, so there was no daily gap, and off and away we went. Thus, why I said short out of the gate to further long on the X. So those are a couple little small hints to the trade day today. We did nothing shy of 7,400 green, and we do this stuff live. We post the P&Ls, we post our trades. We're I'm narrating live every single little tiny trade that we're taking here as you see it on the chart, so you can actually learn the process. It's not an alert service. This isn't something where you just join in and are like, oh, we're calling all these calls. I'm going to teach you how to do this just in case I croak and you guys can do it, right? I'm a stage 3+ cancer patient, so you never know how long I got. Could have got hit by a bus yesterday, but I didn't, and I'm here, and I'm still teaching, and we still got to be blessed and thankful. So if you want to learn how to do this stuff that we do here at Borderland Trading, link is in the description. Come trade with us live. Come see our calls and swings. If not, tune in on that next video. And if you want to, tune in on the Saturday at noon Central Time. I'll be teaching part 2 of Do This Every Day. It's a setup to where I'm going to show you guys exactly how to find day-by-day first tag algo fibs that limit your risk on these entries. So you guys take care. Trade safe in the meantime. We'll see you on the next one.